Hello, everybody. Here we are, starting a new week, having amazing drinks, something warm in these rainy days here in the Netherlands. My name is Maria, and I'm really happy to welcome everybody to our coffee break with me and Masha, special guest. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, getting started as an entrepreneur, and why is that a career path for international talent? And this fancy chancy title means why you as internationals should consider entrepreneurship as your next career step or some steps in between you building a career internationally. Well, I'm from Colombia, Masha is from Russia, and we're going to be sharing a lot of things of what we have learned in the last decade here in the Netherlands. So welcome, Masha.
Hi, Maria. Thank you for having me. Indeed, it's going to be fun to have a chat with a fellow entrepreneur about all the fun stories from the journey, all the ups and downs, especially in the Corona time. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. I think that why to be alone when you can be with amazing people like Masha, a Colombian and a
Indeed.
Russian in the Netherlands.
What a mix.
What a match. So, yeah, before we get started, I want to explain something. We do this event live for a reason, and the reason is interaction. So, what we want to do, we propose some questions. I'm going to tell you all the questions that we're going to be covering with Masha, but we want to listen to your questions because otherwise, how you can join the conversation. So, use that comment or chat box that you have now there, and we're going to be reading you. I'm going to be reading you and sharing all your questions in the next half an hour. We start with a little introduction about me and Masha and how we end up here doing business and, bringing up a lot of things together. And then these are the questions so you can see what we're going to cover, and you can also think about already some questions. And also, of course, feel free to introduce yourself. Tell us, where are you from? If you're in the Netherlands, for how long you're in the Netherlands? Where do you live? We want to just know as much as possible. So, yeah, welcome everybody. Questions for today are: what are the most common myths about entrepreneurship? Important myths. Why is it important to consider starting a business abroad? So why not to do it at home, basically? Why abroad? How to start a business in the Netherlands. So that's specifically about me and Masha's case, like why the Netherlands and how to get started. What are the main challenges of starting a business when not having previous experience? So first time entrepreneur, you never had a company before. How is that happening? When should I consider starting my own business? When is the right time to take that big leap? Yeah. What aspects should I take into account when deciding to get my business started? So what to do before going there? And that's it. So I think that's a lot of questions for half an hour. Now I see
That's quite a lot.
And of course, there's room for more. If you post a question, your question is priority for us. Yeah. So that's how it works. Thank you, Masha, for joining. Please grab everybody your drinks, think about your questions, and let's get started. So first, little introduction. So Masha, tell us a little bit in a nutshell who you are, how do you end up in the Netherlands, and why business in the Netherlands for you?
So I've been living in the Netherlands for the past eight years. So I came here to study, and then on my last year of university, I did this internship. Like it's expected of me for 6 months. It was like an internship, some administrative role in a software company. And the minute I was doing it, I realized is that like all there is to life, and I felt like I could do more. I could do something on my own. So I decided to risk it. And when I was 21, me and 3 other guys decided to launch our first startup. We always thought that we could go back to corporate careers later on in life, but if we had nothing to lose, we had an idea, we decided to go for it. So then we launched our first startup. It was back in 2017. And since then, a lot of things changed, but one thing didn't change. I still want to be an entrepreneur, and I still am. Right now, I am leading a digital marketing agency here in Amsterdam. So I have experience working with, like early stage startups from my own experience, but also as a marketeer, we help other companies to establish their presence in the Netherlands. So I know quite a lot of stories of how it feels starting a business here as an international. I would be happy to share it with you guys.
Great, Masha. I'm really, really happy because we actually met thanks to entrepreneurship, and this common thing about, okay, it can be lonely out there. Sometimes you just are a weirdo trying to start a business because everybody else is going for a job, or going to the corporate ladder, and you're like, So yeah, it's really great that we met many years ago, and we're ready to share this experience and this knowledge with you guys. So this is the chance of you shooting all the questions at us. About me, I came 10 years ago to the Netherlands to study. I already came with a company, so I had a marketing agency in Colombia. So me and Masha, we have the common marketing background. And I was like, as a business owner from Colombia, I was thinking, okay, let's see what is it to enter a new market. What are the differences? What type of projects you get just because you're not in your country, and what is really typical Dutch, how to get Dutch clients, how to get into the culture. So that's how I started my own entrepreneurial journey in the Netherlands. And by doing that, I realized little by little that there's a gap, between talent and between the whole startup and entrepreneurial ecosystem. Back in 10 years ago, there was nothing like now. It's more organized as startup visa, as a really explicit promotion from the Dutch government to attract and retain talent interested in entrepreneurship. Now things are way better for you guys if you're going to do this. So yeah, I learned quickly the need of putting the right people together, and that's how we also created this expert pool logo that you see here, joining forces with legal, accountant, marketing, everything you need, because you will need it anyway in one place to succeed as a business owner and stop being lost in translation. So with this intention, Mash and I, we're bringing a lot of things to the table today, and also inviting you to a really special event that's going to happen next week, and that is going to give you instant access to everything you need to know to really get your business started, of course, from this appetizer onwards. So let's talk about myths, you were mentioning, and I was mentioning that we just came to the Netherlands and started business, So from that perspective, what do you think so far, based on your experience, are the most common myths about being an entrepreneur? Like, like considering being an entrepreneur.
What I hear a lot from my friends is that they have this misconception that you need to be born an entrepreneur, that you have this entrepreneurial talent since the day one. I think it's not that. It's just consistency and persistency and a lot of energy and drive and vision that make you, but also it's just hard work every day. It's not like you suddenly have this talent and then you can, make miracles happen. It's more about working and having this idea and the vision. And the second one definitely is that if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to be free, right? So it's like a magic path to freedom, but honestly, sometimes it's a lot of work and you're quite tied up to your own business. So it's not particular freedom, but it's more about having a job that doesn't feel like a job at all. So it's enjoying what you're doing, feeling the results right away, being surrounded by people who share your vision. So in that sense, maybe it's freedom, but it's not like you're going to move to Bali and enjoy your life as a digital nomad and have someone managing your business for you, and you just get a lot of money on your bank account. I think that's a bit of a miracle scenario, maybe like in 10 years of time. But yeah, at the beginning of business, it's a lot of hard work.
I agree. It's working hard, and sometimes, especially when people are really like almost burning out, at the job, and they don't like their boss, and they think that many people think that quitting their job is finally having the freedom to do whatever they want. And yeah, of course you're free, but the sense of responsibility and having your own business is the kick in your butt that you need to continue going. So I agree with you that entrepreneurship is not just going to Bali and having nice photos on Instagram about the work-life balance that you're getting, but also working in a committed and a really smart way around your business goals. And I think that the myth that we should add here is that entrepreneurship is not necessarily being the next Facebook or being the next Telegram. We really sold out to this Silicon Valley scheme of entrepreneurship, and then people who are owning a nice cafe or doing something nice, they feel like, okay, I'm not that big. So what is success? The definition of success in entrepreneurship is really a myth. Sometimes when compared with these huge startups that have got like, millions of investors and, investments.
So it could be a bit of a toxic environment, right? Yeah. Thinking that everyone should either be a huge unicorn or not do it at all. There's a lot of middle options, and There's a 99% chance you're never going to become next Uber or Facebook, but it's not the main goal to be, right?
True, true. So important when considering a new idea, think about idea from yourself and not from what is already happening in the market or what other people tell you is successful. You don't have to necessarily create a business with the goal of selling out or finding investors if you don't want to. You know, you don't need to share the pie. You don't want to share the pie. So important to think about that when considering starting, right? So about so why is it important to consider or starting a business abroad? Like why? You know, like you were doing your internship, I was here also studying. So why to take that step? What was for you the I should consider this, you know, instead of looking for a job?
I feel like we live in the times of extreme globalization and digitalization, and there's that much you can do in your own country. Of course, some countries have bigger markets, some smaller, but eventually I think every entrepreneur has an ambition to expand and expand internationally, right? And I feel like it's just a very good experience to try to maybe live and build a business abroad. And I think Netherlands is honestly one of the best countries to do that. I mean, everyone speaks English. They're very supportive of international entrepreneurs. There are different types of visas. They help you with the taxes the first year. So I feel like if you want to try to have a business abroad, then Netherlands is one of the best places to do so. And yeah, definitely for the experience and for the connections, you should always try to not only reach out to your own local economy, but try to expand at least with your network. Not like you need to open the second office right away, but building partnerships, having collaborations, you know, networking abroad is the first step to do that.
Yeah. And I think that is kind of, if I would just come here to study and let's say travel around Europe, I will be missing a huge part of what can happen here. I think that's the trigger. Like in my case, I was already in business before coming to the Netherlands. So for me, it was natural to sense what is happening. I think that everybody who's in entrepreneurship are always trying to sense what's happening and have this special smell for opportunities and also understand what is business here. When you come to a place, especially a place that is so different from your local and from your culture, you normally go through finding what are the gaps and what are the things that you can bring to the table. And that's really important when you are an international. Also thinking from a power perspective, you know, if you're just looking for a job, you're like, I need something and I know that I need to get to understand the local market. When you're an entrepreneur, you are in the position of proposing, of innovating, of taking initiative. That is powerful, yeah? So that is powerful. That we're not from here makes us bring a lot of things to the table just because we are not from here and we see things in a different way. So that's why you should consider thinking about what is in your local place, wherever you're living now, in Netherlands or any other country, and what is normally happening in your country. And you can match these two things and see what type of recipes you can create out of this combination, right?
Yeah, definitely, of course.
Yeah, I think it's a way to explain why I like a cafe latte. The combination of it, right? Yeah, and you mentioned that about starting business in the Netherlands. Okay, so we started the business in the Netherlands, the two of us, and it's good because we both follow different paths. You did the startup visa, I did the self-employed visa. So that's also a way to explain how, you know, from the immigration or the practicalities, but also what to take into account. Like you were telling before, the Netherlands is a really small country where you can talk to everybody, really diverse. Many things are going on here. So when you will say like what are the basics about how to start a business in your business in the Netherlands, what would you say, Masha?
Yeah, well, I think it's great to start with the market research to understand what are the industries here in the Netherlands and how can you complement these industries with your certain set of skills or with your company, right? So, I mean, you don't want to bring something that is not needed here. So it would be great to see how your company or your talent can adapt to the market needs, right? So do a proper research before starting anything, you know, do your homework. And then definitely a lot of people do forget about the legal side of things. So how to manage your documents, how to make sure that you have the right structure of your company, how to choose the right legal structure. So this kind of things. And then definitely hire a good accountant if you can from the day one to help you understand Dutch law system and a tax system, because it could be quite a confusing experience. And definitely having a network of people that can help you with the questions here and there, right? Maybe fellow entrepreneurs that have a bit more experience that could guide you through this way is extremely important for two things. It's practical, right? They can give you advice. And second one is to just not feel isolated in a new country where you're an entrepreneur, which is already challenging and stressful. Just for the support and to understand that what you're going through and what you're feeling is nothing new, it's normal, and you're gonna make it, and it's all fine. Having practical and emotional support and having your homework done, I think it's very important.
Yeah, and I think that the Netherlands makes it easy because it's really hyper into community building. I think that here there are many ways and spaces like we were doing. We're doing this online event now. We also host this type of events face to face. Hopefully, really soon we can go back to offline as well. There's a lot of component of being a community and helping each other and finding the right people because of the community and the network itself. I can also add that the Netherlands is really easy to go around LinkedIn. So people are really happy to connect via LinkedIn and have that's in Colombia it's not like that. You go through WhatsApp, for example, you go through the number that a friend gave you of that person. I don't know how is it in Russia, but you can come here and complete cold calling, like cold message, like, hi, I'm Maria, I just came to the Netherlands and I'm wondering if you can just give me some advice about this, or I'm thinking about starting a business. What do you think? Let's have a chat. And people will be like, sure, let's do it. That's something really amazing. Yeah,
sure. There is no such thing as like hierarchy at work, right? So like, as you said, in Colombia or in Russia, indeed, like if you don't have the right connections, then you might not get access to the same network or the same industry as people who do. And also I can imagine that as a younger girl in Russia trying to, establish my business, I wouldn't be taken seriously. I've heard some stories of friends that are girls that would bring a guy who looks more like scary or more representable to a meeting just to be taken more seriously, and this thing would never ever happen in Holland because it's quite organic and flat without much hierarchy. So this is a great thing about Holland. You could literally approach like a CEO of some big company at an event and he will be so chill, like talking to you, sharing his advice.
That's true, 100%. About practicalities and legal stuff, as you mentioned, maybe one thing to make clear here is that the route is going to be different depending on your nationality. If you are like me and Masha, you're a non-EU citizen, you need to look for the startup visa or look for the self-employment visa. Self-employment is more for companies or like concepts that are not integrating technology in the core, are not thinking necessarily about scalability, in their business model. So I always put the example of the empanadas because I love empanadas. So if you want to create an empanada shop, in your street and be the nice person in the neighborhood, you can apply as a self-employee, you're just doing something really nice and keeping your shop and be happy if you make people happy with your empanadas. Well, but if you want to make and find all the people who make empanadas and put everybody together in a marketplace where everybody can upload their own offer, that is a startup. Because you're using technology to make it bigger and accessible, So when you think about what is the role of technology in the way that your business can be scaled up, then you're talking about what is a startup. And technology innovation is in the core of the definition of a startup. Therefore, you have to apply for the startup visa. How do you like my empanada example?
I loved it. Very impressive.
Yeah, okay. So she was applying as a startup for a startup visa, and I was applying for a self-employed before because I came here with a marketing agency. So marketing agency, we do everything ourselves, thinking about how many projects we can cover with our staff or with our people, right? But when you have a concept that can be expanded in that way, you can really apply for the startup visa. The information is available online in English, so you can find like everything you need to do to apply to both types. And of course, you can learn more in the big event that we're going to tell you about. That we're going to promote now. So let's talk about the challenges of starting a business when not having previous experience. So for first-time entrepreneurs, so you are a virgin entrepreneur, new entrepreneur, what happens there? What do you think that, in your case, were the main challenges when first getting started?
Well, basically everything is a challenge, right? Since you have no experience, everything seems a little bit scary, unknown, but also if you're just starting, you probably have so much like idealism and so much energy that you're just able to overcome it. But for me, what was an issue is not having enough professional network, especially within the Dutch communities, right? Since I was an international student here in Holland, I mostly had connections within that world. So, hacking this like Dutch business ecosystem was a little bit tough, but what helped me a lot is to finding a mentor. He was a Dutch investor of ours, so he actually invested in our business, but at the same time, he agreed to mentor us. And once we found him, we actually solved all our problems because he gave his contacts of the tax advisor, he shared his business contacts and everything. So that was a great way to learn very quickly. I see you have some
I see that we have
here.
a question here, and that's a good one, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. It's Suganti. So Suganti is from India, and he studied Masters in Marketing Management in the Netherlands, and currently he's working from India. And he would like to work in a startup, startup here in the Netherlands. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. The good thing is that the Netherlands is really attracting talent for startups, So there's a lot of places where you can find where they're up and coming. And thanks to the Corona situation as well, there's a lot of reports about how startups and scale-ups were the ones generating the most jobs in the Netherlands. You can find that report by TechLeap and find basically your potential employer is there with all the startups and scale-ups that are hiring a lot of people. And I think that it's as important to be an entrepreneur as for supporting startups and scale-ups by, working for them or with them. What do you think, Masha?
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking there is a new relaxation measures for startups and scale-ups in terms of employing people from non-EU. So before they had to follow like the typical procedure as big companies do. So you need to prove why this person is very essential for a company. There was a minimum amount of salary that needs to be paid, and not a lot of startups could go through all this legal and monetary procedures. But now they relax the measures as a test version for startups and scale-ups to hire people from non-EU on much easier terms. So I think that's really like a game-changing thing in the Netherlands. So definitely, I think more and more startups are going to be open, and I'm pretty sure you're going to find a suitable position matching your skills. Just don't be afraid to find companies that you like and send them a message or email directly explaining how you could be a contribution instead of trying to search positions on LinkedIn, because from my own experience, small startups don't like to post job positions openly for everyone on LinkedIn. They usually go through their own connections. So if you manage to email them and be like the right time, then I think there's a high chance.
Perfect. I just posted here in comments the link to the report from TechLeap that I was mentioning, where there's like the list of all the companies, all the startups and scale-ups that were generating the most jobs in the Netherlands. So you can check it out. And we also have another, and please continue bringing the questions, because that's why we're here. We have another question from Guillermo Solórzano. I can pronounce that perfectly. Spanish. He said, "Hi, Maria and Masha. After finishing your studies and the orientation year, is it possible to request self-employment visa via being abroad from home or being?" Yeah, of course it is. It is. You can start your whole process online, and also thanks to the Corona situation, now it's possible to create everything online. Yeah, even if it's a startup or a self-employment, you can check that within the website of the IND, the Immigration Service. Yeah. And also, of course, if you create startup, you need to have registration as a BV. So that means that you need to work together with an accountant, and a legal firm that can help you. And they also offer their service 100% online. We have partnership with some of them. So yeah, let's talk about it later to see how we can really help you. But everything is possible online from wherever you are. Yeah. Bring more questions. I like these questions. Okay. So, Masha, you can maybe take this one.
Yeah. So companies in Netherlands prefer for employees who still have unused search here. How true is that? So basically, why companies prefer to take people on the search here versus those who already use it. So it's much easier for companies to hire you after graduation because you have the same rights to employment as people that are either from EU or Dutch. So meaning that the company doesn't have to pay additional fees to hire a non-EU person. They don't have to go through all the legal procedures. So for them, it's much easier. You can see it as a kind of like a test run. So if they think about hiring you, there's less commitment right away to pay, this visa fees and stuff. So this is why maybe they see it as, more beneficial for them rather than committing right away. They try someone who is equal rights in terms of employment as any Dutch national, but brings maybe some talent from abroad, right? So I can understand that from a legal and the procedures, companies prefer to have less hassle.
That's true. That's true. And yeah, also on the side of how you can take advantage or be smart about your orientation year. In my case, I graduated and went to the Chamber of Commerce immediately. Your orientation year is the best time for you to validate your concept and to get these 12 months before you actually apply for the startup visa or the self-employment, residence permit. So instead of having 12 months, you will have 24 months to basically put yourself out there and get already some results and some traction before you apply, because that will make your case stronger as well. Instead of just having a business plan to be executed, you're already experienced during the orientation year, getting the first clients, understanding what is really your concept, finding the right market fit, etc. Yeah. So important to think about this. Well, we have almost 5 minutes to wrap it up. So I will go back to our questions. And if there's anything that we haven't covered so far, please, this is the question time, people. So we're talking about starting the business without previous experience before. And I think, and I agree with Masha, that maybe you come from an entrepreneurial family. Maybe you, in your personality, you're risky and you take a lot of initiative and you're in leadership positions or you're a natural leader. All these skills help, but actually, whoever wants to really be in business is in business. I have met really introverted people, really mental people that are just working into numbers or whatever, mental in the good way, really rational people I met. Well, they're a bit crazy. Yeah. And then yeah, there's not one type of entrepreneur. Normally you picture entrepreneurs really social butterflies. It's not necessarily the case. It's about finding something in the market that you can bring, and that you can really bring it in a way that you understand and listen to the market. More than about you and this is my baby, because a lot of people say this is the perfect business, this is my business, look at it. Nobody touch it, It's about being flexible. It's about listening and adapting to what your clients really need and finding who is your client instead of saying, my product is for everybody who wants this at any moment, anytime. Yeah. So the more specific, the better. And for that, there's a lot of nice tools that you can get for free, actionable, ready online. You can work with a lot of different methodologies. And I think this is the moment to also announce that we're going to be hosting this event that I'm also promoting all the time. That is called the Here to Start Fest. We celebrate this every year. Masha, I, like many other people, we're going to be there, putting in one place everything you need to know, from actionable workshops, from idea to business plan to legal or taxes for entrepreneurs, whatever you need. So information is out there. We're doing this event next July 1st and 2nd. 8 hours of content for you guys with all the resources of what you need, with all the key players from the Netherlands. And every year we also have a guest country, and this year is going to be Estonia. So boom. Yay. For the price of one, you will have Netherlands and Estonia. And because you guys are here right now, you're going to receive by email a special promo code valid for 24 hours where you can get access to the event for free. The tickets are up to 50 euros. So do take advantage of things. Do not play victim, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, it's so lonely here, there's nothing. There's a lot, There's a lot going on. And me, Masha, and everybody else, we're working really hard on this event. And the reason why we do it is because you're also here. There's a lot of interest in this topic, and we want to share our experience and make it happen, as soon as possible together with you. So that's what I could say about the event. You're going to receive it by email. If you haven't registered to this event, make sure that you send us your email address to get the promo code by private message. and we can just get it from there, or just send it. Yeah, we're going to post our email there, so you can request your code to have access, or to just receive the email with the next steps. That's it. Maybe some last tips about key aspects to take into account when deciding to get started. So let's say you came to this meeting, you came to Here to Start Fest, and now you're like, yes, ready. What to do then, Masha?
No, but honestly, take the first step. Just attend this event, because I remember my first days in the Netherlands, it was so hard to find decentralized information about all aspects of entrepreneurship. But there at this fest, you're going to have an amazing opportunity to basically have even one-on-one sessions with consultants or people that otherwise would charge you a lot of like money for 1 hour of talking. So if you can have a one-on-one session with a tax advisor, legal advisor, business development advisor, all in one day, and it's just amazing, you know. Otherwise, you would spend a lot of time and money on just chasing these people and getting them to talk to you. So honestly, this is an amazing opportunity. And if I had that opportunity, like when I was starting 4 years ago, it would make my life so much more easier. So thanks to Maria, she's contributing so much to this ecosystem of international entrepreneurs. So definitely.
Thank you, Masha. Well, everybody, you have no excuse for that. We are really happy to help you out. We're also bringing really nice people from immigration as well.
That's important.
Yeah, so we're going to have the immigration, the taxes, like the marketing, everything there. So you have no excuse to go and check it out, you know. Here's the website of the event, Here to Start Fest. There you see the program and everything, and you're going to receive the promo code so you can access the event for free, gratis, yes. For the rest, guys, if there's any other questions of things that we haven't covered, please post it via comments. Masha and I, we're going to stay a little bit checking your questions. I'm really happy about your participation. And I'm really glad, Suhanti, that I pronounced your name right, as you say. For everybody else, have an amazing week. And I really look forward to seeing you next week at the Here to Start Fest. Important, we're going to have networking sessions one-on-one all the time. So apart from learning, you're going to be able to grow your network here, which is really important. So make sure that you register as soon as possible so you can start making your appointments for during the event. That's what we call meet and deal, one-on-one speed networking. Cool. Okay, people.
Yeah.
Masha, you're amazing. I see you really soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck, everyone, starting your business. Bye.
Okay. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.